Hey everybody, it's Primus, and today we'll be taking a look at Age of the Prime's Blast Off. Blast Off happens to be my favorite of the Combaticons, not because of his greater-than-thou personality, but he's just a little dork. He's a silly little goober and I love him. Look at this! Taking a quick look at the box, we see that Blast Off converts from robot to shuttle mode in just 17 steps, though I do feel there's a little bit of padding in there. Gorgeous art that I would have loved for them to have used on the side, but unfortunately they're doing this with every release, just like the Constructicons. I can't just look at the picture and see who it is. I mean, luckily this at least has his name down here, but I think we would have been better off if we had had individual character art on this edge and combined mode here. We didn't really need to have the 13 again, and not only that, but the same 13 segment as on the previous Bruticus member. Swinging around to the back, just stock photos. Alright, let's get into it. Fresh out of the box, he does have 3 accessories, though one is part of his alt mode. Taking a quick look at the stabilizing fin, it is just a triangle that attaches with a 5mm peg. Coming around to the back, you will see there is a hole in the left leg. Just put that in there, wiggle it tight, and flush along the back. I feel like they really could have implemented this better, but okay, freeze them up for whatever, I guess. There's no same hole on the other side, so. As for his blasters, it's a shame they didn't give him a third one like they did for Vortex, make him toy accurate. You can replicate the original look of having the blasters on the legs, pointing straight forward, or you can get them in the hands or on the forearms. I like to just keep them on the forearms, personally. Blast Off is very true to form, replicating the Sunbow look. These flat browns all throughout with only the tiniest splash of color. Unfortunately, they took the Sunbow look a little too far by giving him an animation arrowhead. Now, I personally appreciate this. I prefer this. But, you know, when you're going for accuracy, I feel like an arrowhead should really be a bonus. Watch, they're gonna have a Bruticus box set come out with the proper head. To borrow some words from my good friend Duke Trooper on Instagram, it is unfortunate that sometimes that intention of being true to animation can lead the dev team to cut corners, as this is basically 86's cousin, right here. The whole Age of the Primes line, the whole Generations line for a while, actually. What I'm saying is I don't like the hands. These penguin-ass flippers, look at these. They've got the fingers molded on top, the back of the hand, and then you just have this weird little nubbin. And nothing going on over here. A bit of the thumb, actually? That's... why? As much as I hated that this was their solution for Vortex, I really would have appreciated having a movable, removable, just bit of alt mode kibble that I could snap off at any time and give him a cleaner look. I don't like this. They gave my boy Stubbinses. Look at him. With his rounded animation error face and these flippers of his, it really gives him those "Mom said it's my turn to use the Xbox" kind of vibes. Blast Off's articulation is limited in bizarre ways, though a flight stand really helps him out. For articulation, everything on Blast Off is a little bit stiff. He's got some good ankle rockers, as well as toes for the transformation. Swivel at the thigh. Legs can go forward and back, as well as out to the side. The knees, they make you work for, though. Very stiff, and you can only get that full 90 when moving it out of the way. These bits aren't long enough for them to have bothered with moving skirts, so light hindrances throughout, but nothing too bad. Full 360 at the waist, and he barely clears his own tabs to do so, but he does it. Arms are in a hinged swivel, so they can go out to the side, as well as 360. Swivel at the bicep, straight 90 at the elbow, and full rotation for the hands. Taking a closer look at the head, and despite being the animation error, it is a beautiful head sculpt with clean paint applications. It is on a ball joint with limited up and down mobility, full 360, and at the back, you can get slightly more range out of the head by using the transformation joint, but with the way it sinks into the chest, it's really not worth it. For size comparison, here we have Blast Off next to teammate Vortex and 86 Thundercracker, as well as Combiner Wars, Platinum Edition, Ocular Max, and Blocky's Blast Off, and as always, Banyan. Alright, transformation time! First thing we're going to do is come down to the feet and put the toe thrusters down into place. Next, we will close the legs together using the couple tabs and slots available. Oh, everything on him is a little stiff. Not unworkable, though. Now we'll put our finger right in the middle here, prying open, and double hinge the knees down into place before closing up the shell. Now we'll rotate the hands 90 degrees inward and the forearms 90 degrees outward. And we're going to push the head in. Now, I find it's easier to get the head out if you turn it around. You can get this out almost as easily if you just do a preemptive pull and then get your finger back there. But twisting it around this way, I don't really have to do that preemptive pull. So we'll pop the head back in there, lift up the backpack, and bring the arms up, snapping the joint off the torso. We're going to close this up with the tab, peg, and couple holes here. Just making sure to bring those joints forward as well before closing the cockpit up on top. Reattach accessory, fold the wings down, ensure the legs are tight, and flip up the fin. And there we go. Sort of. You see, the cockpit isn't actually flush, despite multiple clicks. So, I have two ways of fixing this. Fix number one. Hold by the nose cone, and fixed. This is the lesser of the two options. You'll see that the nose cone is slightly angled upward, as well as these panels are ever so slightly detached, and yeah, it's just not as good. To remove the cockpit, it's unfortunately too easy. Just take your fingers and squeeze right where I have them. Fix number two, and I will call this the proper way. We're going to take the figure, turn it upright, and start squeezing. Now we're going to come underneath, and back here we are going to spread ever so slightly while still pushing in on everything. Doing that spread creates the perfect close. Now, while it may be less upward tilted, I feel like it still is a little bit, but at least these panels are straight and flush. And same thing, squeeze and it's undone, so be careful. And here we have Blast Off in shuttle mode. Now this is more than serviceable. I still think brown and purple is a bit of an odd choice for a spacecraft, but, you know, cartoon alien transforming robot. I think I can let the colors slide. He does have a nice hidden landing gear by coming to the middle dot in his chest and pulling up, but it is pretty much useless. I guess it lines up with the rest, but what did this honestly accomplish? The instructions do have a bit of step padding with a slight tilt forward and then a rock back. Has two separate steps. I think that was unnecessary. Alright, so this. I'm upset at this. Just a little bit. Well, more than just a little bit. That nose cone thing is entirely unnecessary, and you know what? This was a Combiner Wars transformation scheme. Actually less than a Combiner Wars transformation scheme. Because the Combiner Wars would have had you fold the arms up before coming up here. If you saw how the legs operated, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They did not have any creativity with the engineering here. And I'm not saying there was a lot of room, but there was a little bit. I don't know if the figure actually has room in the forearms to store the fists or the nose cone, but I would have really liked to see a nose cone flip inward, simultaneously flipping the fist outward. This is still ridiculous to me. Fucking flippers, man. At least he looks damn good. This is the best mainline Blastoff has ever looked. I would have really appreciated it if they had tilted these 5mm port hexagons over so the corners were up and down, because even though we're dealing with a circle, it likes to click around into these corners, so you have to be a little bit careful with how you position it. Additionally, he does lose his flight stand port in this mode, same as Vortex, but luckily he does have 6 5mm holes in which you can put various stands. For size comparison, here we have Blastoff next to teammate Vortex and 86 Thundercracker, along with Blastoff from Combiner Wars, Platinum Edition, Ocular Max, Blockies, and as always, Badnion. Now, if you know any one thing about Blastoff, you know he is a member of Bruticus. Specifically, he is the right arm. Now, we may not have an Onslaught out for him to combine onto just yet, but we can still go ahead and get him into arm mode. He is cross-compatible with the Superion frame, but the Superion frame is notoriously difficult to get the limb bots to separate by unfolding. So, I have a workaround. To get him into arm mode, first we're going to fold up the fin and the wings. And there we go. Not quite. He does still have to separate into 2 components, and he does so by pressing a button located deep within this slot here. Now, you could use a knife and risk marring it up, or you could use a flathead screwdriver. I am personally going to use Blocky's Vortex. Let's help myself out here by going ahead and detaching that, and we will press the rotor into the slot and separate. And here he is in arm mode. I'm going to go ahead and give us a better idea of what he should look like once properly combined onto Onslaught, but there's a bit of a problem here, is that his connection ports are all on the underside of vehicle mode. Now, what does this mean realistically? It means the cockpit is backwards. I don't like this. Vehemently, I do not agree with this. You're going for accuracy, and then you do that. I know, it's a small detail, but if you're gonna do it, do it. Again, it does not work with the play pattern any other way. Surely there must have been a workaround. Rotate at the waist, and then plug this on to something. While not perfectly compatible, using this play feature allows you to create silly double-ended alt modes or torso-swapped combined modes a la Energon. I don't know. It's funny. Could I really recommend this figure just sort of on his own merits? No! No! This is a $30 deluxe with the transformation scheme of a Combiner Wars figure. I can't recommend this thing. Between the freaking penguin flaps here and the lack of ingenuity in it, yeah, he looks cute. He's a weird little bastard. He's dumpy, I like him, but like, come on, man. This is what happens when you raise the bar too high and then give him the price to match. No, I'm dissatisfied with it. And you could argue, well, okay, it's part of a combiner, but it doesn't get that right. I'm a little more passionate about this because he's my favorite Combaticon. Like, if I only get one, it's going to be him. And I feel like they messed him up. Now, this is a personal shortcoming because I'm not great at posing figures, but he is difficult to pose in any sort of meaningful way. This head thing is really weird. I don't like the... Like, yeah, he's a little more solid, less hollow, I feel, than the plastic of Combiner Wars, but this just feels like a Combiner Wars figure. I'm dissatisfied. I still love him, though. Look at him. Little goober. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any notifications. This has been Primus, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Go check out my bud Duke Trooper on Instagram at the link in the description. I don't care what his personality is, my headcanon for this is just silly little goober. And I love this for him. Unless you're counting Animated Swindle. Animated Swindle's my favorite, and then all the blast-offs. And then the rest of the swindles. It's unfortunate that sometimes the Here we have blast off. Sorry. Great. He does have this scuff in his nice glossy paint right here. I don't like that. But, you know, what are you gonna do? Fucker. Sorry, I called you a fucker. Come on. Come on. Okay, technically he's not Combiner Wars, he's from the Prime Wars trilogy, Combiner Wars section, which is just using the Unite Warriors mold, and Unite Warriors is the Japanese release of Combiner Wars. It's okay. Work! Please. To get my coffee done, I'm gonna burn. The Combaticons would be Xbox players, really. Yep, that's a Hitler and Mad. Yeehaw, time to come on.